Are we ready? Is it ready?
We're ready.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Office 365 Pulse. I am finally back to do a show, and they only gave us a handful of updates. So I thought that was kind of funny. So maybe I'll just MC the show today. We'll see. We'll see. But
Actually, though, what I went back to the one that we did last week that we didn't do last week. And so when we get done with this one, I would like to go back and touch on a couple items back there too. So
well, cool. Do you want to
kind of
touch on them
stuff.
in their categories?
Sure, we can do that.
Whatever works for you. Well, in development,
There we go.
um, Tamara, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you liked about in development, and then I'll cover one, and then we'll pass it to Tom.
Sure. The one that I'm very interested in is Microsoft Teams Copilot in meetings will suggest follow-up questions to ask it. So when Copilot in Teams meeting responds to a prompt, it will also suggest follow-ups to keep the conversation going. Like the meeting that never ends. So these questions will generally be based on the response it gave prior and could be related to honing in on a particular topic, asking for more details, or asking what a particular person said during the meeting. I love Copilot meeting recaps. It saves me so much time. Anytime your app mentioned, it shows what they, or anytime that you're mentioned in the meeting, it does an app mention in the transcript. So whatever was said near your name really pops out. And it's a great way to find to-dos if people train themselves to bring those to-do ups in a
To-do ups.
logical way, in a to-do list. Or you say, hey, Tamara, do this thing. So I'm excited about that. That's coming out January 2025.
Very cool. I only had one besides that one that I put, and that was OneDrive agents in OneDrive. So agents in OneDrive is kind of like what they've already released in SharePoint, where you can go in and create a Copilot agent that's going to kind of be restricted to a common set of files. And so that's the idea there, that if your files are in your OneDrive and you're constantly referencing those, that you can build an agent and interact with that. So that looks like that should be in development now and coming out around April.
Tom will slide over the spreadsheet from last week and he'll talk for the next 3 to 5 minutes. A lot of Copilot stuff, which is really what caught my attention on this one. So Microsoft Teams, Copilot and Teams can analyze content shared on screen during a meeting. So basically can analyze content shared on screen when recording is enabled. This, along with the meeting transcript and chat, enables users to ask Copilot summaries like, hey, what products had the highest sales? Consolidate the insights. What was the feedback per slide? Stuff like that. I think that's really cool that it's being able to pick up images now and incorporate that into the whole Copilot environment mix of what's going on during a meeting. I think that'll be really cool. And it does say support for PowerPoint Live and Whiteboard in Teams will be available at a later date. That's in development for February. Then we go down to Microsoft Teams, summarize files shared in Teams chat with Copilot. So this is basically, hey, I've got, all these Teams files that have been put in chat and the whole bit. You can one click have Copilot summarize everything with you or for you within a one-on-one or a group chat. I think that's really nice. It's going to work on common file types like Word and PDF to start with, and other formats will be added over due course. Of course, you must have a Microsoft Copilot license for this. That's coming out in January. Working on the same theme that we have here. Actually, yes. There we go. OneDrive, catch up with Copilot. With Copilot, you'll be able to catch up on important updates such as summaries of new app mentions, new changes made to files you've been active in, and quick snippets of new files shared with you. Again, a really nice way to go and say, hey, catch me up on everything that's in my OneDrive, and it's going to be able to do that for you. So if people went and made changes after you were last in there, you're going to be able to catch up on those really quickly. That's coming out in March. Then OneDrive, next 3 actually are all OneDrive and Copilot. ask Copilot questions on meeting recordings. So what you can do is select a meeting recording in your OneDrive and ask Copilot to recap the meetings, highlighting parts where you're mentioned, or recommend action items and next steps. I think that's really nice because, hey, I couldn't make the meeting, but I don't want to sit there and listen to the whole thing again. Hey, just recap this for me because it's in my shared OneDrive area. So that's coming out in March. I think that'll be a big time saver for people who are triple booked for all their meetings all day long.
They should just call that feature Jennifer's feature.
Jennifer's life. Click here for Jennifer's life.
I'm not triple booked all the time, just sometimes.
Just most of the time. Now we have OneDrive create a presentation from a Word file. So with Copilot, you can create the first draft of your presentation using a Word file in just a single click. It does require the Copilot license like everything else, but I think this is really cool. I want to say that you've been able to do that in the past, but it was kind of a Microsoft Garage feature that wasn't ever.
You can do it in Copilot.
Can you?
If you're in PowerPoint right now, you
Okay.
can say, create a presentation from this file.
Okay.
And then you can point and look up the file, but it will be much easier if you know that's what you need to do. If you can
Yes.
go to the file and just say boom.
Do it.
So yeah. I'm excited about that one. That actually sounds like, hey, you've already saved me a bunch of clicks. Now you're going to save me a whole lot of clicks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you could do it now too, but this will be better.
So April, that's coming out. And then the other one, convert Copilot response into a Word file. So let's say you're working with Copilot, you get a summary or FAQ, you really like it, one click, boom, you can now turn that into a Word document that you can share with other people instead of trying to copy and paste the whole thing.
That will be nice as
well. Put
it
in something, you bet. That one I'm really looking forward to also. That's all the Copilot stuff. There were some other cool things out here, but I'm not going to hog the entire conversation. So I will go ahead and turn it back over to Jennifer, and we will go to rolling out, where you two will talk, and then I'll go to my rolling out.
Well, rolling out, I only have one, which is Microsoft 365 app, which is Microsoft Places. So Microsoft Places is an AI-powered workplace app for flexible work, empowering hybrid employees to foster in-office collaboration, leveraging insights into space optimization. Places intelligently allows you to coordinate your hybrid team to make the most of in-office days. Modernize how employees make connections and space management with occupancy and utilization data. I'm just curious to see what this is going to do. So we have a fully remote team. I work with some people that are hybrid, but for the most part, everybody's fully remote. But I'm kind of interested to see. I know there's a push to get people back into the office, so we'll kind of see. That looks like it's rolling out in November. Wait, it's December. So that
rolling it should be rolled out.
Should already be rolled out. We'll see. I can't believe it's December, but that was the one that caught my interest. So I'll pass it to Tamara, and she can tell us what interested her, and then we can pass it back to Tom.
Sure, and it's very similar. Microsoft 365 app, Microsoft Places, managed booking with Copilot. So building on booking suggestions, Copilot's managed booking feature rebooks room declines for single and recurring meetings, especially when room availability varies week to week. Additionally, Copilot will handle any changes, updates, and conflicts to guarantee a room for that meeting.
So that sounds like if you have a room that holds 20, and you had 20 and half of the people cancel, that it may have the smarts to go in and say, I'm going to move you to a room that holds 10 because there's other people who need a room that holds 20.
This sounds like this could either be the best thing that ever rolled out or the worst thing that ever rolled. Like, I'm not sure. And like auto decline, if it starts to, because a lot of stuff will auto decline now, because now in Outlook, you can auto decline if you're on vacation.
Yes.
Like, so I could see this having really great intentions, and let's see what the follow through is. It might be something that you have to use a little bit and then wait till more features roll out. We'll see.
And can I just say, here is a tip for everybody who gets a meeting invite. If you choose to respond to a meeting invite with do not, you accept it, but you choose not to respond to the organizer has no idea that you have accepted that meeting. You have to accept the meeting and allow it to send to the organizer so they get an accurate count of who's showing up. I cannot
Can't they go
tell
into
you.
tracking and see all who's accepted?
Even if they've accepted, but they choose not to send the response, that acceptance response does not get sent to the organizer.
Right, but if the organizer went into meeting tracking, wouldn't they be able to see how many people had accepted?
They do, but these people who did not send the response, they show up as having no response.
That's interesting to me because interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, just a safety tip. Do not cross the streams and always respond to your meeting invites.
Especially respond with a negative, I'm not going to attend, rather than just delete this, I don't want to go, because then you do definitely get that. So yeah. Okay. Well, I have 3 things in the rolling out from last week. 2 of them are co-pilot-y in nature, even though you have to dig down a little bit to see that word. And that
There's an adjective that's going to happen.
Co-pilot-y?
No.
Oh. Yeah, SharePoint, using data access governance to understand the tenant's current permission landscape. So Copilot, one of the biggest things that Copilot rollouts are hitting up against is data permissions are completely out of control in most SharePoint environments. And so you go, hey, we can just roll out Copilot. And all of a sudden people are seeing a whole lot of stuff in Copilot that they shouldn't be seeing because obscurity security doesn't work anymore. It's like, hey, I can get to everything. I'm going to tell you whatever I can based on this data. So the data access governance, also known as DAG, this particular one right here is the use of it to allow you to understand your tenant's current permission landscape and make better decisions regarding applications based on permissions such as Copilot. DAG now includes a report that reflects the latest state of permissions in the entire tenant and returns sites that have a greater count of permissioned users than the SharePoint admin specified number. So it figures a lot of things based on like individual names or huge distribution lists or stuff like this. But this is going to help you potentially identify root causes for oversharing. The other one is similar in nature, and that is Site Access Review offers a way for SharePoint tenants to empower site owners using DAG. And this is basically still using these reports, but once these reports discover this information, the SharePoint admins can request the site owners review the permissions using the specific context of that report. So you're going to have this great tool to go in and say, you're sharing a lot of data here. Are you sure you want to do that? Mm-hmm. And the SharePoint admin can't necessarily do that effectively because it's not their data in a lot of cases, but they can push it to the site owner and go, hey, did you really know that this is what you're exposing to probably far more people than you expect to? So I think these 2 things together, which are in a rolling out stage as of November, could help start to get a handle on some of the things that are keeping you from being able to do a Copilot rollout effectively without exposing a ton of data to the whole world that, again, without Copilot, it's like, well, nobody knows this site exists. It doesn't matter if everybody can get to it. They don't know about it. Copilot's going to know about it. So that's a good one in order to start getting your data governance going on. The other one, which has nothing to do with Copilot, but was really cool. I was a little bummed, though, that it hadn't rolled out to everybody in our tenant. It's just like a target, and I'm hoping that it rolls out shortly because I really want to do a tip on it. And that is Microsoft Teams name pronunciation. So with this particular feature, if you call up your profile card, you'll have your name up at the top, and there's a little icon that will either be a microphone or a speaker. And if it's a microphone, click on it, a screen pops up and says, okay, record the pronunciation of your name. You get like up to 10 seconds. I hope you don't have a name that takes all 10 seconds. But you go ahead and just click Thomas Duff, unclick, and then you can listen to it, do it again if you need to, whatever. And then once you save that, if you go up over your name and you look, that mic has now turned to a speaker. When you click on that, then your speaker is going to come and go, Thomas Duff. And that's going to be really good if you're dealing with multicultural workforces where the way that they pronounce their name is not something that may be natural to you. Like, me being a white
Tamara is going to
Caucasian.
say, Tamara, like camera.
Only different.
Only different.
That's how she'll get the 10 seconds.
Tamara, not Tamara. I'm not tomorrow. It's not today. It's not tomorrow. But yeah, the fact that you can go in and start to understand how somebody pronounces their name if it's not a cultural scenario where you're used to that particular name. So again, rolling out in November. I've seen it in our tenant, but I'm probably also on targeted release. So be looking, it should be in your tenant fairly soon. And that was coming out to actually everybody. So all the government tenants get to play with this one too.
Very cool. Well, when it comes to launched, I only had one or two that I really liked, but I didn't want to steal Tamara's thunder. So Tamara, I'll let you go first and then I'll follow up.
Okay. Oh, apparently I'm frozen. There we are. So Microsoft Teams Intelligent Recap, this is that meeting recap we were talking about earlier, is launched for the GCC High environment. So the Intelligent Recap is going to use that AI to provide a quick summary of your meeting, highlighting key discussion points, identifying follow-up actions, and offering quick access to significant points such as name mentions, when a screen was shared, individualized speaker markers, topics, and chapters. So I'm really excited about that. Also, the other one that I'm really excited about is SharePoint e-signature integration with Adobe and DocuSign rolling out globally. And what I want to know, is this all over the world, or is this across all of the tenants, or is it both?
Like I say, when I saw it pop up, because I was catching up with all the admin center messages and getting them put to Planner today, it had said, yes, this has been out in the US. We're now rolling into all other countries like Canada and the UK and everything else. So it listed like this laundry list of countries that are now going to be able to use this particular feature. So
no government yet.
No
if
government.
That's what you're looking for, yeah.
Now you still have to pay for the Adobe and DocuSign feature because it's a third-party provider, but at least it'll be available to customers all over the world.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Well, cool.
What do you have?
The one that I had I thought was interesting is Copilot in Viva Glint. And so Glint is a tool that lets you get employee feedback. And so having Copilot on top of it, it's going to highlight potential issues, get trends and surveys and stuff like that. So that just makes it an easy way, because if you've got Copilot in there, if Copilot prompts with something in a summary, you can ask additional questions, drill down in. So I think that will be a great use for that. And then the other one was Teams Places. If you're using that with the workplace presence, it will auto discover if you're in a conference room and put you, like if you're in the office and put you in that office. So it's doing some things with locations. I thought that was pretty cool. So those were the two that I thought that were interesting that had launched. Tom, what do you have?
I am really surprised. I had one highlighted in this week's and I thought, yeah, that one's not going to make the cut after these two get done. And it did. I'm surprised. And that is Outlook auto reading emails with narrator. This feature will allow users utilizing the Windows narrator screen reader tool to have messages read aloud automatically after opening the email. This is for hashtag new Outlook for Windows, but it is launched as of November. So you should have it in your environment if you're using new Outlook for Windows. I looked hoping that maybe it was on the web and I didn't see it, but I may not have known exactly how to kick it off because reading again, Windows Narrator screen reader tool. So it sounds like something I need to get Windows to do rather than having it built into Outlook. But I need to dig into that a little bit more.
Awesome. Well, I think that's the list for this week. So,
That is
Tom, thanks for coming with updates from last week. So,
hey, you bet.
I love it. I love it. And we should be back next week for another round of updates. So, thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.